Okay, preface. In my 7 years of artistic career, I have managed to follow through with only 2 art challenges, that being Sketchtember 2018 and Inktober 2018. Honestly, those didn't feel pretty good. The rest of my attempts were even worse by the fact that I either dropped them halfway through or skipped a lot of days. And worst of all, I felt pretty burnout after each one. This year, however, I saw one of my art buddies, Rekaharte, sharing that she would do a February faces art challenge, where she would draw 1 face each day. She's an amazing artist, by the way, go check her stuff out. I felt curious and decided to join in. At this point, you probably already know the outcome if you follow me on my other socials.
How many times do we have to teach you this lesson, old man?
So what's the difference here this time? I have experienced dropping out of my mostly art challenges and experiencing burnout after doing them. I mean, I had no constraints. All I had to do is to draw only 1 face 20 times each day to complete the challenge. Yet I only managed to go through 1 week. And here's what I learned after failing to draw faces each day during February. Your art career is a long road. I love a phrase that I saw from one random fitness TikTok. Obviously paraphrasing, as I don't have the original, but it goes something like this. What motivates you to continue going to the gym? To which they reply, what's motivation? And I love that statement. When you do something daily, you label it as a habit. You don't stress over the fact that you need to draw every day. You don't have any obligation. You just do it. You don't need any explanations or any excuses to find or tell yourself that you need to do it now. I find a lot of productivity tips that revolve around setting artificial deadlines around your projects. I find this advice incredibly jarring if I started something new. When you start something new, you must allow yourself space to goof around and experiment. AKA, the more you goof around, the more you find out. Only when you find yourself enjoying the process is the moment you can systemize and streamline it. That's what I did when I started dabbling into video editing. I didn't jump straight into editing videos for my YouTube channel or trying to monetize it. Instead, I let curiosity guide my action. I started doing edits of my daily life that I shared with my friends or my family. I had incredible fun splicing clips together and feeling ecstatic when I matched the cuts to the beat of the music. Now, I have somewhat systemized my editing process for my YouTube videos. Usually, it goes something like this. Monday, I research. Tuesday, I'm writing. Wednesday, editing and recording. And Thursday goes to final touches and posting. And here's what I need to stress. I allow flexibility in this process. I don't stress if I didn't manage to prepare my script on Monday. I can take a bit of time on the next day, or just crunch the 2 tasks in 1 day. Of course, it would be ideal if I didn't have to do that, but our lives aren't perfect. Adaptability is king. And also if you have something already batched in case of emergency. I don't punish myself for, let's say, life got in the way, or I goofed around and did a completely different thing, because I know which actions lead me to my goals. There is no definitive right or wrong. If I do art instead of writing, I still say I did a good job, because my content revolves around art. I can always repurpose my art into other mediums. So how does this relate to monthly challenges? Challenges, more often than not, aren't flexible in nature. If, say, life got in the way and you missed a day or 2, no matter how you look at it, you will feel pretty bummed, because challenges revolve around stakes. You skip 1 day equals failure, and we are hardwired to avoid failure and seek comfort. Why? Because instinctively, failure equals death. You could also hear the argument that if you can't sit and do your job when you don't feel like it, then you won't see success. I'm sorry, but are you an office worker? Do you want to make your art career yet another 9-to-5 job? Sure, everyone can enjoy good discipline, but you are creative, not a mindless drone that only needs to do 1 thing for the rest of your life. Challenges, in a sense, can be described as external motivators. The same kind as when you see an incredible artist and decide to pursue art because you want to be like them, and you can't rely on external motivators. They can be great in the short term, but they also can be a double-edged sword. When you rely on external motivators, you can lose sight of why you started doing art in the first place. You forget the joy and passion that led you to pick up your pen in the first place. The pressure to create something every day can become a chore, And that's when you start to lose your creativity. I noticed a weird paradox. If I don't put pressure on myself to draw every day, drawing every day is so much easier. But the moment I decided to make it into a challenge, or to count the days I can keep up the streak, I fell off in about a week or so. And that's not only with art, that goes with any hobby or habit. Hearing this, you might say, okay, so external motivators don't work for us. So what does? The opposite. Internal motivation is the driving force behind any successful artist.
By the way, the reason you see those artists going to art challenges like a breeze is that they prepare beforehand with a handful of sketches. Personally, I find this goes against the premise of a challenge that goes to challenge you to draw something each day, even though knowing I will still become lazy and stop halfway through the month.
It's the inner passion and drive to create that pushes artists to reach their full potential. When you rely something on external motivators, such as art challenges or deadlines, you may feel pressure to create without fully enjoying the process. This can lead to burnout, frustration, and even giving up on your creative pursuits altogether. On the other hand, internal motivation stems from your own desires and goals. It's the joy we feel when we create something that we are proud of, or the sense of accomplishment we experience when you finish a project. Internal motivation fuels you to keep creating, even when we face obstacles and setbacks. But how can we cultivate and maintain internal motivation? This could be anything from developing a particular skill set to creating a body of work that reflects your unique style and voice. Once you have a clear vision of what you want to do, you can set achievable milestones and work towards them. This could be fellow artists, mentors, or even friends who share your passion for creativity. Having people to bounce ideas off of, receive feedback from, and celebrate your successes with can help you stay focused and motivated. And how convenient for you that have a chance to mention that we have something in the works. Reka and I are working to create a community for a new generation of artists who are confident in their craft, successful, and kick ass for breakfast. Right now, it's in the planning stage, but you can check out the filling form that you see on your screen and be notified when it goes live. The focus of this community will be education and giving you the tools you need to make it as an artist online. This means marketing, social media, personal branding, finding your style, setting up a website, and much more, as well as dealing with physical and mental aspects of being a kick-ass artist, taking care of yourself physically and mentally, and all other good stuff. AKA all the boring stuff that sounds like a poison to your ears. But in today's age, health equals wealth, and it is what makes someone successful. This is not self-plug, by the way. There may be times when we feel stuck or uninspired. It's important to take breaks, step away from our work, and engage in activities that bring us joy and recharge our creative batteries. With times like this, do other stuff. Engage in your hobbies where you don't feel the stress of competition, deadlines, or challenges. So, this goes back to the moment when I decided to draw faces throughout the February, but quit after a week. You might still want to pursue challenges despite what I said, and that's a great thing. After all, challenges are an amazing way to test your abilities and how far you can push yourself. The important fact here is to not overdo it. So in that case, here's how I approached this month's challenge. I didn't treat it too seriously. From the beginning, I decided I would go at my own pace. I gave myself permission to quit whenever I felt like it or circumstances pushed me. Lo and behold, stuff happened. Other projects required my attention, and sadly, I had to let it go. And I didn't stress about it. And as I didn't stress too much about it, I also decided to experiment with my art. Recently, I began to heavily dabble into typography and textures. Adding them on top of my faces costed me practically nothing and provided me with a great chance to try out new things with my art. And suffice it to say, I am absolutely in love with the results. I've been doing graphic design alongside my art for a few years now, and I have always wanted to combine the two mediums. For the longest time, I didn't know how. There were so many choices, I got stuck in the decision trap. I just couldn't decide until I just said screw it and plastered big text on my sketches and several layers of textures that you would think is just a cop-out against AI and art thieves. But I love it, and I plan to do it a lot more. Will I ever stop doing art challenges? Most likely not. Will I ever stop dropping them halfway through? Probably not. To recap, using challenges as motivation which is an external motivator, is not effective, as it adds unnecessary stress and leads to burnout. Instead, allow curiosity to guide your actions. Develop a habit of creating without any obligations or excuses. Think of it as being a vessel to your creations, a bridge between the vast imagination of the universe and the real world. And your job as a creator is to create. Not stress over the deadlines or obligations of keeping up streaks. This isn't Call of Duty, where you can get a bunch of followers on your 20th streak. The pressure to create something every day can become a chore, and it can lead to losing creativity. Without pressure, drawing every day is more manageable, and I can't stress enough the importance of allowing flexibility and enjoyment in the creative process. So with that, I'd love to hear from you. Can you deal with pressure? What tricks are you using to keep creating? Pick up your pen and start drawing. Bye!